Hey again, everyone. Welcome back to the Capes Cast podcast. I'm Jeremy,
And I'm Ryan.
and today we are going to be discussing, reviewing, talking about whatever you want to call it with the Ultimates number two.
Yes, sir.
Um, I, I somehow get the feeling that we're going to be seeing this kind of situation between Tony and Cap a lot
Absolutely.
because the last issue he was holding them back because he found out America didn't exist.
Right.
Now he's holding them back on this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Captain America just wants to storm the White House and fuck,
Yeah.
and mess things up. Like he just,
Yeah,
uh,
and it's funny because like for all things considered, this issue is like really short,
it is.
but you're getting like two like stories fed to you at the same time, you know?
Right.
Because like yeah, basically like uh it's just kicks off on July 4th, so Independence Day.
Yes, sir.
And the Ultimates are storming the White House because they are looking to speak to the American leader. But America doesn't really exist anymore. It's a
No.
completely different region, or like it wouldn't even really consider it a country anymore, huh? It's just like
No.
a one of like the slices of the pie that's been cut.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so like
The
while
New World Order, basically. The New World
yeah,
Order.
yeah, while they're storming the White House, we also get this like the other half of the story, like catching us up to what Steve has been doing
Right.
prior to this. And he's just been learning about the history of America and how it fell apart and how it, no longer exists. Um, and it's really cool to see this like play side by side with them storming the White House,
Right.
especially when they come to the Oval Office and they see that Midas is the one that's like in charge,
Yeah.
but he just really just bought it. You know what I mean? Like he just owns the White House now because it doesn't mean anything to
Oh.
the real people in charge.
Yep. It's hilarious. This whole part was funny. It was just like
uh,
Cap just being.
I what I find interesting is good.
I just love this because this whole time it's like Midas is just trolling Cap the whole time they're talking. They're just Cap just
Yeah,
getting so mad, and Midas,
he's just being such an ass to him.
yeah, he's just trolling. Like, oh, you cared about America? Well, that's gone. I mean,
Oh yeah, sorry. Get over it,
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
What I think is really interesting is like this. They really tried to play up like the parallels to like real life
right,
with some like historical accuracies, but then you also have like the Maker facing down Galactus. So it's interesting to see the history of this America
right,
and like how things have kind of played out because you have um like the Maker on the moon, it looks like, right?
right.
He was on the moon, or yeah, he was on the moon. He was talking to JFK, like just a lot of interesting stuff.
Right. It's pretty
It's
cool.
just all solid world building stuff. It's cool to see
It
that. I
is.
don't know. I think that's gonna be my favorite part of this series is like seeing how it expands the world a lot.
Right.
I mean, because like this the story being told in it is still really, really good. But
Yeah.
like I'm excited to see like what it's gonna do for like the larger Ultimate Universe.
Right.
Like,
And I like it too that like Tony's mad because Midas is wearing his dad's like first suit.
yeah. So
So
he's like digging on both of them right now,
yeah,
man.
exactly.
He's just making fun of Cap because of America, but then he's also like, hey, I'd swipe this off your pops.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's mainly just their fight against Midas in the Oval Office, but then you've got uh Ant-Man and the Wasp fighting, just some goons in the hallway and stuff, kind of like keeping things locked down. You don't see Doom in this at all, do we?
I don't know. We don't.
So I mean, we'll see what he's been up to in issue 4 with him his experiments and stuff anyway. So
Yeah.
um So here's the other thing that I think is interesting too is like it looks like that there's a Punisher.
Where?
Okay, are these like flashback images or it's when it's right after Midas blast Cap, and it's the next page, and you have like an Omega Red and a dinosaur, and then like a Punisher.
Oh yeah,
Is this has to be what's currently happening,
I would
right?
imagine it is. Yeah, because that does not look
Well,
like.
no, okay, no, this has to be in the past because you've got Howard and Aya here in
Oh
their
yeah,
Iron
you're
Man
right.
machine armor fighting in Omega Red. So this must have been like in the past. But I still what's interesting here is you got this where you've got it looks like is that the Berlin Wall?
Yeah, it looks like it.
So they were there for that fighting Omega, which would I guess would make sense, you know.
Got a
Um
Roxxon facility like right
in the
next.
Savage Lands it looks like.
Yeah.
And then you've got a what looks like a Frank Castle just going on a rampage or a
Right.
Punisher just kind of like running amok.
Yeah.
So it's things
A
are
little
really
red
twisted.
with a little red thing like a Shang-Chi or something. Like a
Yeah, well, like I want to say like almost like a Rambo kind of
yeah.
motif.
It's pretty
Interesting.
cool.
Yeah, I I wonder I wonder if we'll see this guy again. Maybe
Right.
Spider-Man or something. I don't
I
know.
wouldn't
See, like
mind more
this, like
Omega Red. I wouldn't mind Omega Red in it.
yeah, Mega Red or like even seeing Punisher and
Mhm.
like Spider-Man or something would be really cool.
Yeah, if he shows up in Ultimate Spider-Man, that'd be fun.
I don't know, man. I like I think I probably spent more time looking at these pages than I did the fights in this
Yeah.
issue because I just think it's cool to see like them expand everything.
Right.
And then yeah, the fight just continues. And then they like Tony blasts a hole through the ground and they end up dropping into a lower level and they see what's powering um basically this part of the country, like this like whoever is locked up and I mean we learn who it is at the end, but this
Right.
woman that's trapped in this machine, she's powering a lot of stuff, including his armor and other things. And Midas has become very like possessive of it
Right.
and doesn't want anybody fooling around with his energy, you
Hmm.
know. Uh, and then the other thing too is like you see almost like a Punisher when like as the flashbacks keep coming, you see like he sees that the Stain Stark or Stark Stain bombs dropped
Right.
probably during the war. You have this like militia group that seems to have modeled themselves after the Punisher.
Right. What's the commentary on?
Yeah, on police and stuff
Yeah.
today. But yeah, I mean, really, really interesting stuff. I just think this stuff is gonna be like the more I see of it, the more I'm gonna want and the more I'm gonna like of it, you know?
Yeah. Same
I don't know.
here.
I'm such a I think I'm such a world building person for this stuff now.
Right.
Sometimes
Especially
like
Dennis Camp's doing a great job. Hickman's
yeah,
doing a great job. Everybody's expanding. I mean, not to go out too far on a side note, but did you read Ultimate X-Men?
this week,
Yeah,
yeah, I did.
because they basically kind of show how the mutants exist inside the Ultimate Universe, which is pretty different too. I thought that was pretty different and unique too.
Yeah, it was like a clan or something of people that
Well, basically, it's like a blood cult.
yeah, and
Basically, they started using like power, like their blood, and
yeah, and then they've like started to like almost like the way I understand it is like they're like experimenting on the blood of other people now,
correct. But
and
basically,
they and
there
that's
are
what's
mutants
created.
that happenstance by accident, right? They didn't do
Yeah,
the cultish thing, but they ended up drawing blood, and then the ritual
right.
accidentally happened. So it's
I
kind of cool that even in that, it's showing how mutants
I mean
come
they officially named themselves the X-Men in this week's issue of it too.
right.
So I mean, like it's so funny because I feel like yeah, not to go like too far on a tangent off of Ultimates, but like um this week's issue of X-Men was pretty good.
Yeah,
Of Ultimate X-Men was pretty good. It's funny because I feel like the last four, like okay, well the first four,
yeah,
I feel like it's just been kind of just a build up, and of course because it's the beginning, but also like there's such like and I'm not even kidding. Like I can probably read one of those if you time me probably a
yeah.
minute and a half. They're so short.
Hmm.
So like it. it doesn't feel like anything is really happening other than just a few little blips of dialogue between some high school kids, and then one spooky thing happens and the book is over.
Right.
And it's just been like rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. So it's nice to finally get like some traction and see where this is going and get a little bit of a reveal with some of these characters. Like we know for a fact that it is Shadow King,
Right.
or this version of Shadow King. We know where the mutants have been coming from, or where most of them have been coming from. We finally get like them starting to team up, them like starting to get to like, you know, a climax of things. But it just sucks it took 5 issues to get there, because I think it, if it continues with this kind of pacing, I don't know how this is going to be one of those books where it's like each trade feels like a singular issue
Yeah.
of something
I
else.
was just about to say this trade is going to read bad because the trade for this, the first trade is only 1 through 4. So we don't you don't even
Is it
get,
really?
yeah, you don't even get this like issue where you get a little more in it. You just could get the first 4 issues and you're like,
Yeah, that's
I
let's put it
feel
this way.
like, 5 or 6 would have been perfect to end it on so that you
Yeah,
have a
because
little something before
because
you.
we know that this next issue is basically going to be them fighting Shadow King, or their first encounter with him, whether or not they
Right.
beat him or if he's the big villain for the whole book, like we don't know. But
Right.
like either way, like personally speaking, if I'm going to read like a trade on something, like I need to have like a pretty defined like stopping point,
Right.
you know? So like, yeah, it would make sense to have it be till the end of this arc, or till the end of that first initial fight, where whether they win or they escape and they have to like, lick
Right.
their wounds or whatever. But like at least it gives you like a clear point to stop, and you know where things will like pick up next. Whereas like at the end of issue 4, it's just the same shit that's been going on for the previous 3 issues, which is, oh well, look, one more character's got powers.
Right.
So like, yeah, I just
I
don't think
think
that
that whole end part is like basically it leaves you on the cliffhanger of, did she
well,
destroy all
because
the phones? No, she didn't destroy all the phones. And that's basically where it like the
yeah,
trade
well, like, and then
happens.
like, well, right, and then we get Nico, but she doesn't really do anything until this issue.
Right.
So it's like, again, everything that's important to what's everything that's happened so far isn't until issue 5.
Exactly.
So like, you're gonna, okay, so what? Are you gonna sell people on a $25 or a 20 or $25 trade paperback that doesn't really go anywhere if they aren't gonna be reading monthly, or they have to wait? It's is it gonna keep them hooked enough?
Right.
Pick up the next trade or pick up the next several issues.
Yeah, I
I
think it's a bad move.
I
They should
I not that that book is bad. I just think it's the weakest of the bunch.
yeah, definitely.
And it is what it is. Like it's not like a shitty book by any means. It's just it reads really, really fast. There's not a lot of material to like to latch onto. It's just like whatever's on the page is what you get. Like
Yeah.
it's all it is, which is fine. Like there's no, you're like, at least you know what you're paying for. You're paying for Peach Momoko. You're paying for her art. You're paying for her style, for something that only she can bring to comics.
Yeah.
So that's what you're paying for. Like you get what you pay for with a Peach Momoko book.
Yeah.
It just sucks that I was expecting a little bit more. That's all.
I get it. But I mean, I just think it's cool that we're even, because this basically takes place in the Japan of this world. And
Yeah,
basically, I love the idea that the mutants are made by some crazy different way because the maker likely got rid of the mutant gene. He probably got rid
yeah,
of
the X
genes
gene.
ever being able to happen. So the fact that they're still able to tap into it somehow with
Yeah,
some, I thought it was pretty.
I and what I think is most interesting about, now that you bring up the like it being in more of like an Asian, location. I like that these books are really like focusing on the world and
Yeah.
not just like what happens in the city they live in or the kingdom they live in. Like Wakanda, like for Ultimate Black Panther, for example, like that's a book that's probably going to span most of Africa, if not
Yeah.
a really significant portion of that continent, or
Right.
whatever territory that is in the Ultimate universe. But then you also have like the Ultimate, which is probably going to be global. You've got Ultimate Spider-Man, which will mostly probably stay in New York, but you'll also probably get a lot of context for the North American side of things.
Right.
Um, but and then you have, yeah, Ultimate X-Men with, the what would be Japan.
Right.
and then whatever's next. I would imagine that there are probably other books in the pipeline. What they are, I don't know.
Right.
I Fingers crossed, man, it would be an ultimate Thor,
Oh yeah. That'd be
because if there were an ultimate Thor, you could do a lot with that. Like you could cover a lot of you could cover like the more like fantastical, mystical side of Marvel with that, but you could also handle the cosmic stuff too.
right.
I don't know. It could be cool, but I mean
Even
that is
just
a scene
exploring
that
like the bastardized Asgard would be fun. Like whatever
yeah,
made
like yeah,
made
exactly. Like
Asgard.
even what the realms look like under Loki's rule for so long would be cool. Like even if it was a mini series, and I don't really know if that's in the cards or what their plan is. It's just a shot in the dark. It would be cool to see, but it also kind of seems that this is going to be very just Earth
Yeah.
based, at least for now.
Right.
So the fight pretty much, we'll get back to Ultimates. The fight pretty much culminates in Janet zapping the machine that this girl is like attached to, and it starts to collapse. Midas is pissed. He's like freaking out, and he's like obsessed with this girl. He's like,
Right.
"You can't have her. You understand? She's mine. I love her." And then just as we get the moment of Cap seeing like the like the ending of the simulation for like America's history, um, he pops Midas in the back of the neck with his shield and just like breaks his neck, man.
Yeah.
It leaves him paralyzed. But which was like crazy, you know. He was just like didn't even hesitate, just popped him, which
Yeah.
is so different than our Cap, you know,
Right. But it is reminiscent of the more grittier Cap that was in
the
the
Ultimates.
back in the
Which okay, yeah, I don't know if you saw this in the very beginning. It's that second page. Where he's like, "What does the letter on his head stand for,
Oh
mommy?"
yeah.
He's like, okay, Ultimates, let's go save America."
Yeah. That's pretty
I
funny. His face is just like,
I I love that they are really playing up these like original Ultimates jokes. I
yeah.
swear, man, if we get an Ultimate Wanda and Pietro
Oh no.
X-Men, they have to make a joke. They have
They
to
do. They do.
like be like,
They
"Are
do.
you boyfriend and girlfriend?" Be like, "No, we're brother and sister." I
Right.
swear they have to, man. They have to. I'll I'll
It blows
tell you
my
what.
mind that that still happened. Like Marvel okayed that. Like that blows my mind
Dude,
that that
they okayed Mary Jane getting dying via Peter Parker's radioactive sperm, and then approved a sequel.
yeah, that's true.
They'll do anything.
That's true.
They'll do anything except let Peter Parker be happy.
Right.
I mean, except in this, I guess. Um, yeah. So it kind of just ends with them, literally storming the Capitol and saving this girl who is dressed up in the stars and stripes, basically like Cap. And then he says, "A great justice wasn't done to you, but things will be better now. Can you remember your name?" And then it ends with them leaving the White House, and she says, "America."
Right.
It's
America.
America choice.
Yes, sir.
I uh I had a feeling that's who it was as soon as you see her face.
I kind of had the feeling when you see her there and it's like
Like the star.
the
Yeah.
star outline, I kind of was
Yeah,
just
that definitely was a dead giveaway. But I was like, maybe they're just playing, maybe they're playing it up. Maybe it's a rift. I don't know. But then as soon as you see her drop out of the machine and she's like, it's literally America, and I was like,
yeah.
all right, it's America.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool issue. I think it was really cool. This next issue is gonna be sick, dude.
Yeah.
It shows Thor versus the Immortal She-Hulk,
Oh, hell yeah.
dude, and it's gonna be sick because she looks beefy, dude.
That's dope. Well, I mean,
It's
it's
fun.
got to be because this Hulk is a freaking pacifist.
Yeah, which okay. I wonder if she's gonna be more of like the opposite, if she's gonna be like the berserker kind
I
of,
think so. I think that's where it's
which
going.
which it's so funny because if this were main continuity, I'd be like, yeah, get out of here.
Right.
Like, I don't want it. But like, let me see it. Like because this Thor seems like he's a little bit more you know, willing to do some underhanded things that our Thor wouldn't do. So I'm interested to see that matchup, especially knowing their history and like main continuity.
Right.
I don't know. It's cool. I like the dynamics change up, and hopefully they'll actually fucking fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Uh
you see more Sif too. So I
yeah,
like that Sif's part of the team.
yeah, Sif. It's her 60th anniversary this year.
Oh, awesome. Oh crap. I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Are you
If
gonna do
you
anything for it or
yeah, I mean all she's getting is a variant cover for Immortal Thor 14. Yeah, not even like a one shot or like a mini series. Dude, like I'll tell you what. Um so I'm like I haven't read any like because I've been doing all my back Thor reading, and I stopped at four. I stopped my Thor reading at 400 at last month because I knocked out like back practically all of Astro City.
right?
Killed me.
Yeah.
I've literally like I like feel so burnt out on reading old stuff right now that I haven't even looked at an issue of Thor. Like I haven't even like I want to read all of Daniel Warren Johnson's indie stuff this month.
Yeah.
But like after reading like The Walking Dead and then all of Astro City and then everything I read before that, like I've just been reading so many big runs over the last few months that I just feel so burnt out
Just take a
that like
little
dude,
just take,
I've barely been posting on Instagram because I just like don't
yeah.
I'm like whatever.
Just
Like
reading the new individual issues to kind of
yeah, I'm just reading my weekly stuff because I'm like whatever.
yeah.
But like I don't even know where I was going with this anymore because I just feel like I've just been reading so much crap.
Yeah.
What was I even saying?
Uh, you were basically going into crap that you just burnt. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know where you were going
that's
with it. I don't know where you were going with it.
either way, basically like I I'm excited for new stuff for a change. I think is where I was going with this.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I'm excited for like new comics that aren't necessarily like just stuff that I've been reading, and that leads us perfectly into DC
Yep.
All In
I
because
was about
that
to say.
is exactly what we're gonna get.
Yep.
I think. I there okay. What are the three things you're most we'll do All In and then we'll do Absolute. What are the three All In announcements that you're excited about?
Well,
I guess All In is Absolute
it
also, but
is.
like just the main continuity stuff.
Um, I'm. I mean, the main continuity stuff is we don't really know how this is going to affect the universe, but we do know that something's splitting off from it.
I mean, just the creative changes, I think, like the creative team changes,
Yeah,
which
we're getting Tom Taylor
McElhenney on Detective.
on Detective, which is a
That
little
seems like
weird.
such a safe choice
Yeah. I mean, when you
because
go from what like Rom has been doing, which is like this weird, like psychedelic, psychoactive, gothic stage play thing he's doing to just go into Taylor and McKellen feels a little, I don't know. I don't know. And then for Taylor to go from like this acclaimed Nightwing run to just detective, it's just like,
yeah,
and especially with him writing Titans still, I'm like Titans made sense a lot more when he was writing Nightwing with it, but now I'm hoping he doesn't try to mix detective with Titans. I wouldn't like that. I don't think that would work. But um besides that, do we all I know is Jorge Jimenez basically said that he's staying on Batman. So I imagine Chip is too.
yeah. I the way I understand it is if it hasn't been mentioned, that's staying the same.
Right. Which
Other than just like them giving an update saying, "Hey, Spurrier and this artist are still on Flash.
right,
King and Sampier are still on Wonder Woman.
right.
Adams and Johnson are doing a one shot for Green Lantern, and they're going to be changing up the status quo and resetting things
What with like the whole Olgren stuff?
with
Or
Green Lantern and the Green Lantern stuff as a whole. The I would imagine that they're probably going to cap off this United Planet stuff, and with the emotional spectrum being out of whack, they'll probably give it a reset with some new
makes sense.
players in. probably this new Gray Lantern.
Makes sense, but I hope we don't. This isn't the last of Red Lantern Sinestro because I enjoyed that.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, me too. Especially
Um.
if we were to get like Atrocitus running into,
Yeah.
that would be dope. Or Dexstar running into, Sinestro and them. That would
I
be
just want to know what Larfleeze is doing.
right. Right. I think you said somebody's like he's dead, he might have been killed, but it's like then
Yeah,
who's
and
who's the one
I don't
orange
know for
lantern
sure
now?
if that's true or not, but it would make sense considering they've been popping power batteries all across the universe,
Right.
and most of them are destroyed now.
Right.
So I don't know. I I think for me, like Green, and I haven't read all of Johns' Green Lantern run, but the parts that I've always found most interesting about Green Lantern is when it's just about the different cores.
Yeah, of course.
Like I mean like the one-off adventures of them being like space cops is cool. I don't know. I'm very much like a it just seems very like complicated and complex and very like there's it's ripe for, you know, political intrigue, for like drama, for like just all kinds of chaos to happen between the seven, or hell, what are there, eight or nine
Yeah. Now.
different cores now. So like it's just putting all those elements in a pot and seeing what happens. Like I think that's when it's at its most interesting.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to see if that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like because you get like you faction against faction, you get people teaming up that wouldn't be teaming up otherwise because of a common enemy. Like I think that kind of stuff is cool and
Well,
it
not
really
even that. It's also like a thing of like, when Blue Lanterns link up with Green Lanterns, they make Green Lanterns stronger. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
they all
exactly.
affect each other and they all like kind of have these rock, paper, scissor effects with each other. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, like their dynamics are different are different based on who's interacting with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like fear, like the yellow and the green don't mix, but blue with green can defeat the yellow and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I like that too. I like when they kind of change the rules of it, which is what I feel like Jeremy Adams is doing right now with the emotional spectrum being all like,
Which is
at
like
first when I was reading, I was like, does this make sense? And then I'm like, oh, it's
I,
yeah,
it was a really it was honestly it was a really smart choice for them to play it this way because if because here's how I feel about it is if if you destroy everything that exists, or like not necessarily destroy it, but if you change the shape that it's in, like you can basically make it whatever you want.
right,
Like he's not destroying the lantern cores, he's not destroying the emotional spectrum. He's just changing the way that it operates in a way that is very story driven, and it's not just for the sake of changing it where it's like Hal's willpower is so incredibly powerful now that
right,
he is the central power battery. He is the source of all willpower. Like it's stupid shit like that. Like
right. Which if
it's
anything,
much more
John has that right now more than anybody. John has
yeah,
that.
yeah, like it's much more interesting to me to like one, we know that there are these things that power like that give them their power, and it's a tangible physical thing in the universe.
Right.
Why not have somebody go fuck them all up?
Yeah.
Like that's never been to my knowledge, it hasn't been done. So what happens when you have somebody that goes around and just busts all these batteries up, and is kind of like been making these chess like moves to like depower all of these people,
Right.
and make a big play and say, look, I'll run the show and I have all your power now.
Right.
Like that's way more interesting than trying to make it like as like the Flash.
100%.
I
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like and speaking of the Flash, what are your again, let's go back to All In and like the other stuff. Um, what do you think about what are your three absolute titles that you're looking forward to the most?
Well, I mean, there hasn't been too many announced, right?
Well, I
So
mean, they've all been leaked though.
have they?
Yeah, have you not
You're
seen
gonna
them?
have to fill me in because I just know
All right.
I really know
Okay.
the
So
top three. I know the top three. I know that we're getting Absolute Batman with Snyder and Dragata. A lot of
Yes.
people are hating on it. I think I am excited for it. I'm really
I
excited
just
for
think
it.
they're hating on it because
It's such a drastic design
well,
change.
yeah, it's a, yeah, for one, it's a really crazy redesign, but
Yeah.
also two, it's like Snyder's already been here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like you know what I mean?
But they're
Like
kind of doing that with all the writers and the teams. It's like
and here's
people,
the other thing too, is like I thought about this also, like it would have been cool to see Aaron write absolute Batman if I hadn't already read Offworld.
yeah, exactly.
I read Offworld, like I read off, we've read what, 3 or 4 issues of it, whatever's out.
Yeah.
It's it's just okay. Like
It's hilarious.
I don't, yeah, it's just
It's funny in a weird way. It's just
yeah, like yeah,
it's
it's
ridiculous.
funny. Yeah, I don't think that he is a good I don't think he has a good voice for Batman like long term. In a
Right.
6 issue miniseries that I can just say, hey, it was just this goofy sci-fi Batman space adventure where he had a bat punching robot, and
Right.
it was goofy and it was crazy and whatever. Like that's it. Like that's fine. But I couldn't see him doing it long term. It would just get old really fast.
Yeah.
So maybe him being on Superman is a good choice, you know?
What I think is cool is because all of these are going to be different. Like, because at first I was like, cool, we're going to get an Alfred back. No, we're basically it's basically Bruce without the manor, without the money, without Alfred. It's
Yeah,
Superman
he's just
with
on his
Ma
own,
and
just
Pa
middle
Kent.
aged working, just a blue collar dude.
Right. And it's like Superman with no Ma and Pa Kent, no Fortress of Solitude, no nothing. Like, and Wonder
Yeah.
Woman, no Paradise Island, no.
But yeah, because isn't it basically um whatever Darkseid has done has created this universe that is like forcing these heroes that are like, I wouldn't say edgier, but they're like the cards are stacked against them in pretty much
Right.
every way.
And it makes them a lot more tougher and a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they are edgier in that
Yeah.
regard. But yeah, then the other titles were, I mean, you have Kelly Thompson's Wonder Woman, which
I'm
just
stoked on
based
that.
off the design, bro, I'm in, dude.
Yeah, I'm in
It
on that.
just feels like Wonder Woman God of War.
Yeah.
It looks so cool. Um, but then you have the Absolute Flash, which is by we're gonna be by Lemire.
So that is for sure. Oh wow.
I mean, everything else that's come out has been true, so I don't know why these wouldn't. And all of
Gotcha.
the names that have been mentioned are basically been all but confirmed by
Well, I'm pretty sure
every
you're
single
stoked
one.
on that. Lemire on Flash, man.
I'm hyped, bro.
Yeah.
I could not be more excited. Lemire can do a lot of like dark and like dreary, sad stuff, but like the thing that's at the core of most of his books, if it's about like if it's sci-fi, if it's like one of his grounded books that's just like, you know, Royal City or like whatever book, that's based in Canada, where he's from, or like or any of the other like titles that isn't like horror or just so damn depressing, like there's always a human element in them, and it's always about the characters at the end of the day. Like in Black Hammer. Black Hammer has like some good, really like high hopeful moments, but it is pretty bleak, all things considered. But it always comes back to the characters like doing whatever they can to save the day.
Right.
So like I feel like if he keeps that human element, like if he makes that human element the Flash family, like Wade and Johns and Adams and everybody else that's been a good Flash writer has done,
Mhm.
he can do whatever he wants because he's done every genre in comics. He's
Right.
done sci-fi, he's done horror, he's done romance, he's done, family wholesome grounded books. He's done everything. So he is a really good choice because you can do both the really grounded, family driven stuff, but also really go into the horror, into the sci-fi, into all of that.
Right.
So I'm hella hyped for that. That's exciting for
Yeah.
me. And then Ewing is absolute Green Lantern. Yeah.
That's gonna be fire too.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy
Yeah.
because there's all these reports saying that Ewing has knowledge of the DC universe that rivals Mark Wade's. So
And
and
if this like universe is directly connected to Dark Side, I feel like he can have so much fun with that
oh
too.
yeah, and for a fact, if Darkseid is the big bad for all of this, Ewing is the guy to do it, man. Because if you're gonna put him in the cosmic scape, Fourth World is already open to him. You
Yeah,
can get Legion in there too. Like it's potential for everything,
right. And
which
what
is
else
really
is there?
exciting.
What else is
There's also Dennis Camp doing Martian Manhunter,
okay? That's
and
cool.
I think there's one more.
Huh. I'm wondering who's eventually gonna have to do the Absolute Justice League, eventually, because that's coming.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure it will at some point.
That's awesome.
Let's see.
Damn, I might be having to drop the main universe books just to have some room for these.
I was thinking the same thing, man.
Dude.
Like
That's crazy.
I'm pretty screwed.
Yeah,
I was just thinking like what indie books am I gonna have to drop
right,
like or trade weight because there are too many. There's gonna be too many new titles coming out.
right.
I can't justify buying them all.
Well, I'll gladly drop Spurrier's Flash for Lumire's Flash. So,
I said that too. I was like, well,
yep,
bye bye regular Flash. I don't know. Yeah, I it'll be interesting to see them compare the two though.
yeah,
It'll be weird because it'll be the first. Okay, that's the other thing too is like that they're all gonna keep in the theme of like these heroes being like underdogs.
yeah.
So, like, at least the way I understand it is the Flash book is gonna be Wally, but without Barry.
Okay,
So which makes perfect sense because for Wally for the long I mean even now that's other than his family with his wife and his kids, like Barry's been his biggest hope, his biggest inspiration, like since he
right.
became a hero. So like to see how he would turn into the Flash without like his symbol of hope is an interesting idea.
Yeah,
And Lemire could really, really cook with that, bro.
right. But we're about to get a dark, dark new universe for DC.
Oh, October needs to get here
Yeah,
ASAP, dude.
I agree.
Damn it.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a million and one ideas that could come out of this, and they could all be really, really good.
And I'm sure more is going to be announced. Like we got Comic Con going right now, so I'm sure more DC announcements are coming. And
Yeah, let me see if I can uh we got like a minute and a half left. Let me see if I can
yeah,
find it. I I cannot remember what the other book was. Either way, I think there was a seventh book, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, I mean, that's still a hell of a lineup, dude.
yeah,
Like those six books, crazy,
right.
absolutely nuts.
And considering that the Ultimate Universe has like four, so
Yeah. And like there's just the create like I just can't get over that lineup, dude. It's a lot of really, really good creators.
it is.
Despite how you I mean, how I feel about Aaron, I still think he has the potential to be a really solid writer.
Yeah,
He
seeing
just has to like
Takata do something like Batman is gonna be nuts too. So,
yeah, that's about it,
mhm.
guys. We'll catch you next week with just probably just a regular episode next time.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace out, dudes.
Later on, guys.